Hey, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm Olivia and I'm a gender affirming voice teacher. And this video is the fifth and final installment of my Building Blocks of Vocal Feminization series. So we've talked about preparing your voice for practice. We've talked about resonance, pitch, inflection, or intonation. And today I wanted to talk about kind of putting all those things together in a practice routine. I think that can be the most intimidating or the most overwhelming thing about this process is not having kind of a tangible like, okay, but what should I do to get there? How can I bring this into my conversational voice? You know, you can do exercises till you're blue in the face, but if you're not able to kind of make that jump into conversation or make that a habit enough to bring that into conversation, it's not going to be that helpful for you. So today I'm going to walk you through just kind of a sample practice regimen that you can think about implementing. And you're, of course, you know, this is kind of a template and you can adjust for whatever works best for you. I'm going to talk about how much you should be practicing and then how to kind of start bringing that into conversation. So when you're working on vocal feminization, you don't want to be practicing for hours a day to start. You want to have a short practice routine, not only for, you know, making sure that you do the practice, but also for your vocal health. You don't want to be pushing your voice, pushing your muscles too far too soon. So this routine is just 10 minutes and it's just broken down into increments of 2 minutes. And I've just included some of the things that we've worked on here in the Building Blocks of Vocal Feminization series. So if there are other things that you're working on more specifically or in different elements, pop those in to this kind of template so that you can set yourself up for success. The first 2 minutes of your practice routine is just going to be warm-up exercises. So I talked about those warm-up exercises in the first video. I also have several other warm-up videos that I'll link below. But basically you can do semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. So these include things like lip trills that are like this. You can do a V sound. You could even do tongue raspberries. You can use a straw. So you're basically just gliding up and down in pitch, or you can hold long tones. You can also do the straw in a glass of water, so blowing bubbles into a glass of water while doing the same exercise as well. So that's going to be your first 2 minutes. In the next 2 minutes, you'll work on pitch. So you can work on finding your target pitch and humming in a monotone way. So if your target pitch is here, 1, 2, 3, or using phrases, Monday morning, hi, how are you? And then from there, finding your speech sound at that new pitch level. So something like, Monday morning, hi, how are you? So making sure that you're starting with that first pitch at the start of the sentence and then going from there. Voice tools would be a great tool, for lack of a better word, to take a look at your pitch during this part of your practice. The next part of your practice for 2 minutes, you're going to work on resonance. So first you'll work on that big dog, small dog exercise, putting a hand on your larynx, just kind of finding that lowering and that lifting, noticing the lowering and lifting in the tongue, and noticing the big space and the small space. So that exercise again was So then once you've found that small dog space and you're feeling pretty comfortable with it, you can add some words. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can also use a nasal sound like an M sound and the E vowel to bring all that sound forward as well. So you could also do something like me, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So again, that small dog. Me, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Bringing all that sound forward into that smaller space. And if you missed the resonance video, I have linked it down in the description. For the next 2 minutes, you're gonna work on intonation. So here you're just going to open the Voice Tools app. You're going to say some of the sentences, either the generated ones that they have there on the first page, or you can come up with your own phrases. If you go to the link down in the description to my blog, you'll find a list of some sentences to practice. But basically they're just, what's up? I'm not going. I'll have an oat milk latte. Will you be there? I'll be there. So you can try those and do the exercise from the intonation video where we went flat, monotone. I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. So noticing when your pitch is rising, when it's falling, and when it's flat. So for the final 2 minutes of your practice, this might be something that comes later for you after you feeling like you're kind of mastering some of these concepts. But you're gonna try layering some of these pieces. So maybe you try layering resonance and pitch, for instance, and you can find your pitch, and then find that small dog position. 1, 2, 3. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So then I'm making sure I'm thinking about both pitch and resonance. So if this is not coming super easily for you, just focus on the one element at a time. You don't need to be layering things super quickly. It's more important that you're understanding the foundations of each one of these elements before you start layering them. But know that it's an option. When you're deciding sort of how long to practice, it's really, again, important to remember that you're dealing with a muscle and that you don't want to overdo it with your voice. Short practices more frequently are going to be more beneficial for you in the long run and in the short term as well, rather than longer practice sessions every once in a while. If you're practicing, twice a week for an hour, that's going to be less beneficial than if you're doing 2-minute practices 5 times a day. So the whole concept behind my challenge this January, the 2-minute vocal feminization challenge, was all about saying, okay, if you can spare 2 minutes for building your habit with your voice for 2 minutes, you're going to be able to maintain that habit so that you actually reach your goal. So when you're first starting out, you can think about like 2 practice sessions a day for a minute or 2 minutes. And you can also, put a sticky note by your computer when you're working or on the steering wheel of your car to remember some phrases or some ways to practice that are helpful to you. So that way it's not this like big scary thing like, oh, I have to practice. Your voice is with you all the time. So if you're alone in the car, you can get a little practice in if you kind of memorize what you are working on. Depending on your levels of comfort with friends or family when you're working on your voice, it may or may not be possible for you to start implementing what you're learning into conversation day to day. But if you do have supportive family and friends that you feel comfortable practicing with, I would definitely encourage you to start using some of these techniques in conversation sooner than later. The more you can start trying to implement these things, the quicker this process is going to go for you. It doesn't benefit you to perfect or your version of perfect your voice before you roll it out in your day-to-day life. Practicing sentences and phrases, it's very different than having conversations, obviously, because you're thinking about what you're saying as you're having a conversation. It's very different. There's a million things that you could be thinking about other than your voice. So it's important to just start building that muscle, building that practice habit around conversation. As you practice your voice in conversation, just like in your 10-minute practice routine, you can start by just focusing on one element. So, maybe you go out with friends and you say, I'm just going to focus on pitch today and see how that feels. So that it's a little bit more manageable when you're thinking about one single thing as well as all this conversation and being in a social situation. rather than trying to layer everything all at once where you're thinking about a billion things and not feeling like you're making any progress. So give yourself the chance to have that element become muscle memory before you start to implement all these other layers. So as an exercise, I want you to take yourself on a date. I want you to take yourself to a coffee shop or a restaurant you like, a bookstore, go shopping for clothes, anything that you like to do. And I want you to roll out one of these elements, whatever one kind of speaks to you, whatever one is feeling like it's making the most impact for you. So when you're speaking to the employees at the coffee shop or the store, wherever you are, make sure that you're using that voice in conversation, and then write down some reflections when you get home. What did it feel like for me to use my voice in conversation? Did I feel like that went well? Was I able to, really change my pitch or change my resonance in a meaningful way? Okay, so now you've kind of learned the building blocks of vocal feminization, and you can start to build from here. You've learned about how the voice functions, you've learned how to kind of take care of yourself through this process, and you've learned how to build a practice routine. I really hope this series was informational. I hope it was fun. Please let me know what you think about this series down in the comments, and what else you'd like to see from me. And if you're feeling like you'd like some support, you can always go down to the link in the description and sign up for a consultation with me or a group class. I'm really excited to start a group class in February, so take a look at those dates. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.